Hey guys, we're going to be jumping into chapter 8 here where we're going to be talking about some things called polynomials. So before we get into that, we need to talk about a monomial. Monomial, pause and copy this down. A monomial is a real number, a variable or a product of a real number and one or more variables with whole number exponents. So here's some examples. 18. A, negative 4x squared, 2.5xy cubed, a divided by 3. Notice that all of these do not include any addition or subtraction. That's the best way, in my opinion, to think about something being a monomial. So have that copied down. Let's keep going here. All right, so copy this down. It says find that the degree of a monomial is the sum of the exponents of its variable. The degree of a non-zero constant is 0, and 0 has no degree itself. So here, it is the sum of the exponents of its variable. So this has an exponent of 1, which means its degree is 1, not equal to 1, but has a degree of 1. This is 3 plus 2, so we would say that's to the 5th degree. And this is a 0 because it's just a constant. All right, so that's what we're looking at for these. Let's keep moving. Here's the fact of the day. Very, very important. Make sure you make note of this. Celery is 95% water and 100% not pizza. All right, so adding and subtracting monomials, this is combining like terms. You check and see, are the variables exactly the same? And if they are, we could add or subtract them. So this should be pretty easy. Remember, you just add the coefficients. So this would be 8x squared. This is an assumed coefficient of 1, so it's 4 minus 1 is 3x cubed y. All right, so that's all you're doing. It's just another way of saying combining like terms. That should be pretty simple for you. Pause and copy all this down. A lot of vocab on this first section. Polynomial is a monomial or a sum of monomials. Standard form of polynomials means that the degree of its monomial terms are written greatest to least. This is big. Make sure you write that down. The degree of a polynomial in one variable is the same as the degree of the monomial with the greatest exponent. Now that sounds kind of weird, but we'll look at some examples in just a minute. So again, make sure that you have paused and copied all of this down. All right, here's a chart that's going to be helpful for you. You want to pause and copy this down. So here, notice it's greatest to least by degree. And this largest term, or the largest degree, determines the degree of the entire polynomial. So we would say that this polynomial is to the degree of 4. This chart is something that's helpful. So 6 is a degree of 0. We call that a constant. It has one term. It's called a monomial. 5x plus 9 is to the first degree. It's linear. There's two terms, and if it has two terms, it's a binomial. Really, this chart could be divided in half right here. All right, so just know that. The degree gives it this name. The number of terms gives it this name. So a binomial, we could have a binomial that would be like 5x to the 4th plus x squared. And this right here is a binomial because it's two terms. So just make sure you have all that copied down. Study those words. I think you should be okay with that. Anything over degree 4, we just say 5th degree, 6th degree, 7th degree, and so on. You don't really say quadrinomial. That's weird sounding. You just say a polynomial. All right, so after trinomial, for the most part, we just say polynomial. All right, so classifying, it says write each polynomial in standard form. What is the name of the polynomial based on its degree and the number of terms? Standard form, if you recall, is just writing with the largest degree in front, going down greatest to least. Okay, so this is a squared term, so we would say that is a quadratic. And then there's two terms, so it's a quadratic binomial. Let's take a look at this one. First of all, notice I have this 4x and this 7x. I can combine those like terms. So I'm going to, before I do that, rewrite this in degree order, so greatest to least. Make sure you keep that minus with the 1. combine these like terms. So I have 5x cubed plus 11x minus 1. This degree is cubic. This is looking at that chart that you just wrote down. And it's 1, 2, 3 terms, so it is a cubic trinomial. All right, so that's how you would label these things. So use that chart. So first of all, identify the degree, then identify how many terms. All right, adding and subtracting polynomials. To make this really easy, the best thing to do here is to just line them up vertically. So I'll start with my first one, negative 7.1x squared minus 180x plus 5,800. Then I take this and I line these up with like terms. I'm adding here, so I'm going to add each one of these things. So I'm going to add 21x squared, and then I'm adding a negative 140x, and then I'm adding 1900 here, and I literally just add straight down like you learned when you were a little kid. So here I get, let's see, I think that's 13.9 x squared minus, that would be, let's see, 0, 2, carry the 1 is 320x. And this one's going to be 0, 0, 7, 7. All right, so this is adding and subtracting that polynomial. Now notice what happens down here when I line up this one. There's a couple things here. So first of all, I have x cubed minus 3x squared plus 5x. Now, first of all, I'm subtracting here. There's a couple ways you could do this. You could just put minus and then this whole thing in parentheses, but what I like to do is go ahead and change that to a positive and change the sign of everything that's inside, and now I'm just adding it. So I'm going to write these and make sure that I line all of these up. So negative 7x cubed. This is a negative 5x squared. And that is a positive 12. Now be careful, that doesn't go here, that's going to go here, because those are not like terms with that. Here I get negative 6x cubed minus 8x squared. Just bring down the 5x, bring down the 12. All right, so if you line them up vertically, it makes it really, really easy. What you're in essence doing is just combining the like terms. So here's a couple for you to try. The answers will be up in 3, 2, 1. All right, so here are the two answers I got. 2g to the fourth minus g cubed plus 9y plus 9. Down here, negative 4m cubed minus 4m squared minus 2m plus 21. Again, make sure you line things up. It makes it easier to approach that. And that's it for today. Really, really simple lesson before we get into some of the tougher stuff. So make sure you've taken good notes. I will see you all in class.